Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. We could call it the LHS podcast too because I'm always ill. But as usual, life can be a little bit dark, and life could be a little bit miserable, and also a bit confusing, it seems. But we're here to bring you a little bit of light, a little bit of joy, and not from me because I'm Bradley, but hopefully a little bit of clarity from my main man Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah, pretty good today, thanks. Try and bring the clarity.
I'm doing well, thanks. Oh,
yeah, I'm just showing off now. Oh, look at me, all healthy. I'm not though. Bloody hell, I'm a bag of garbage, basically.
Yeah. It's that COVID vaccine, I blame.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
The vaccine. It's all the vaccine.
It's got to be, yeah. It's all those tracking devices that Bill Gates has implanted in me.
Matt Letizier's right, you see. Those three.
Oh yeah, always. You know, obviously that's what you want you want ex-footballers to be your primary source of insight in these times, don't you? Definitely.
Oh, definitely. Talking of ex-footballers and insight and stuff like that, and you get like really bad choices. Before we go on, Stu, are you voting for the Tories? Or are you voting for I can't believe it's not Tory?
Strangely enough, no. I'm not voting for either of them. Shower.
I don't know what to do.
No, well, I'm going to play it by ear. So I'm going to see because I'm in North Wales, the candidates will be sort of very different and I'll have to have a look. But I'm not sure who's going to be on the ballots. It's going to depend on that. And if there's anyone good there's not from those parties, I'll go for it. If not, I'm just going to spoil the ballot paper. That's what I've decided.
See, what gets me, right, I wish I lived in the Northwest. Because, like, if I was to live in, like, Liverpool or Manchester, you get people like Steve Rotherham and things like that who are seemingly the decent side of Labour still. They seem to have, like, you know, on the whole, the decent, you know, you've interests at heart and they're decent human beings for politicians. Okay, but down here it is a case of just I didn't realise red was just a slightly darker shade of blue.
Yeah,
not darker. They don't like that. But they can't change because they don't like that either. And it's ridiculous.
Hideous, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm going to vote green on writing Jürgen Klopp. I think I think there's enough people in this country that if they wrote Jürgen Klopp's name on the ballot paper, he'd be in.
Yeah, it might be a kind of Candyman situation, you know. Say his name a certain number of times and he appears, and that's what we should do.
God, he's a decent bloke, and I don't miss him at all, Stu. I don't miss him at all.
Oh, you're clearly over that relationship, yeah.
He's gone,
yeah, obviously.
Stu. He's gone.
I'm so sorry.
Do you know what? It wasn't about it. Like, we had a tournament. He'd had a tournament, so I didn't actually get to see his leaving bit until a couple of days later. And Jürgen said, like, he wasn't as upset as he thought he would be. It was a celebration. He was happy. And, yeah, it came across. I don't think I've really had, like... I honestly thought I was going to have, like, a massive breakdown because it is, like, he's our Shankly. Our era's Shankly. And I thought it'd be fine. I thought I'd be a mess, but I was fine. Absolutely fine, Stu. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. But I just want to point out, like, bring something to it. So at this tournament, you stayed on a caravan park. And I put this on Twitter and someone came back with, if it's an FA sanctioned thing, that's bad safeguarding. It's not, right? They had a swimming pool at the caravan park, and the swimming pool was only a small swimming pool, just for, you know, the people at the caravan park to go and have a little dip. And it had a single changing room, Stu. A single changing room. And do you know what kinds of people were in there?
Scum.
It was full of trans women, Stu.
Oh,
they
right.
They were creeping and they were looking, and everyone, they was going, oh, get changed in front of me. Oh, right. No one gave a shit, Stu.
Nope.
For anyone who really wanted to get naked or whatever, or wanted a bit of privacy, individual changing rooms. Because that's what everyone seems to forget. These single sex spaces have privacy rooms in them. Booths or whatever, generally. So if you're really worried, you've got those. But yeah, loads of people in there. Old, young, male, female, non-binary freaks like myself. And you know what? No one gave a shit. So, you know, what you going to do? Eh? I don't think there was one case of someone going, oh no, And there's probably people in there who have gone, oh yeah, that JK's Rowling's right, who probably didn't even think twice about being in there.
The only time I ever see stuff like this, like I see it on TikTok, like people, like poor unassuming, like often lesbians getting assailed and regaled in bathrooms with them going, "You're a man, you shouldn't be in here," and she's like, and they're going, "No, I'm a woman."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, even, the word's just failure. It's just bigotry.
Yeah,
there's
I've
no
seen.
logic.
Yeah, there's a
It's
video on
horrendous.
TikTok, quite a masked lesbian who has a complete breakdown on her video because she's basically hounded out of her toilet because she's masculine presented, even though she's a woman.
Yeah, it'll probably be the same one I saw.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just goes to show it doesn't make any difference whatsoever as to your level of safety. You know what I mean?
No, I won't tell you how we got to the conversation. This is the last thing I'll say on the matter. But this morning, we're Edith's going around being Edith. And it was accidentally said, I think, by Lorraine. She went, Edith's come around, oh, look at my penis, look at my penis. And she's got like something between her legs and she's flinging it around. I've got a willy, I've got a willy. And Lo accidentally says, she just went, well, you haven't really, have you? Because you're a girl, you've got a nuddy. And that was like, she goes, that's just like Lego. Because she had Lego that she built up into a giant stick penis thing. Anyway, totally innocent. And like, we turned round and Edith corrected us. She went, actually, mummy, no. We've got a friend who's a boy and he's got a nuddy. Because we've got a friend who transitioned from female to male, goes to the Liverpool Women's Games, came out earlier this season, has had top surgery, I believe, to sort of move his breasts and everything. But yeah, Edith, well, we've got a friend who's a boy and has got a nuddy. I just think, yeah, that's where kids are. That's exactly where kids are. They do not give a shit.
Nope.
I mean, we should have questioned, how do you know they've got one? Just to make sure, but no, she knows, like, they used to be a girl, they're now a man. And so, yeah, clearly, you know, when you are born a girl, you are born with that genitalia. That's fine. But we're not asking to see it. We're not worried about it. And our assumption is, well, that's a man who's got a nudie. That's fine. Yeah. If only our leaders were like that. I mean,
way too dumb.
I mean, bit of editing for you. Most of our leaders are men and they're so, you know. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Take that.
Yes, there's your first bit of editing you've got to do, Stu. I know I said I wanted to keep this short, but hey, you know me, Stu. I've got going now. Talking of getting going, Stu, do you know why I keep saying your name as well? That's my cue to go, right, I should probably move on. I don't think it's worked.
You tried. That's the main thing.
Yeah. But talking of Stu, do you know what Stu does with his time off?
What's that? What do I do?
Plays video games.
Oh, I sure do.
So what have we been playing? You can do two. Come on, let's do two. I'm ill, but I'm in a role now, and it's keeping me going. So what have you been playing?
Well, first one I've been playing, I'll talk about Helldivers 2 first, which I talked about briefly last week about working terribly on the Steam Deck, which it does. And I started it on my PC, and it played terribly on my PC, which it does, except for the fact that, luckily, there is a bit of a workaround. You can force it to run in DX11, and it's much, much better. But, you know, technically, obviously this is all managed by PlayStation overall, and they've just not given much of a shit about the PC release. Thankfully, as I say, quick work.
Which is really weird, because I'll comment on that in a moment, because that's a really weird thing to be saying.
I know. But, you know, workaround-wise, we're all good. So finally got it working so that it was acceptable, and it runs nicely, and it's a really good game. So I haven't played kind of online shooter for quite some time. I say that, but, you know, Exoprimal was the last one, so it's about a year ago, maybe a little bit less now. So I'm not that out of the loop. I played Aliens, Fireteam Elite before that, but Destiny 2 probably before that. So I don't play them very often, but I do every now and again, once every 18 months, I'll dip in. And I can see the reason why this is really popular. And I'm not sure if it's been sort of exposed much in terms of the reviews, but for me, the reason why it is because there's the whole glass cannon thing, which you don't normally get in online shooters. You're normally more of a hero, you're normally like bulletproof, and it's only overwhelming forces that sort of defeat you, or a massive boss. Whereas in Helldivers, even the lowliest little grunt can take you out in seconds. So that's unusual, and in a good way. Secondly, there's lots, and in fact, the emphasis is pretty much on environmental stuff. So, like, stuff like fog of war, smog, smoke, terrain hazards, sort of just the terrain in general, because you've got a stamina bar, so climbing takes it out of you, running takes it out of you, anything obscuring your view, that's important to the gameplay, the weather, the heat, the cold, the actual, your speed is determined by whether you're trudging through snow or whether you're running through sand. It really focuses on that, and you don't get that in online games very much. In fact, you don't get it much in single player games.
You just don't get it much in games.
Yeah, exactly. In shooters particularly, they're normally much more sort of corridory. They're focused on your weaponry and the hit reactions from the things that you shoot in, and all the ancillary stuff that you call in as reinforcements, and it has all that stuff, but it really is, the focus is on that kind of, you're very, very vulnerable, you're very disposable, and the environment you're in plays a massive factor. You go into the Terminator environments, the bots, and it's just, you're playing the Terminator then, it's great. And they're often very, very dark environments, and you'll see flashes of their red eyes, and apart from that, you can't see their shape, and then an explosion will go off and they'll be illuminated, and you'll be like, oh my god, that's bigger than I thought it was going to be. And it's really good, really clever how it does that. And I think that atmosphere, along with it being as good a shooter as the original game, but obviously in a different viewpoint, as good a shooter as that was, adding in all that environmental stuff and making you so vulnerable really makes it stick out from the pack, and it's very unusual, and it works really well. So I've put about 6 or 7 hours into it so far, which is not much for an online game because they need a lot of attention and a lot of development from you, but it's still enough to know that it's definitely one of the games of the year. I think whether it's one of mine, I'm not sure yet, but you can definitely tell it's quality through and through. It's a really excellent game.
So are you playing with friends, or are you just jumping in with randos?
I've just been randos, yeah. I haven't got any mates who actually own it at the moment, so yeah, randos.
Yeah, I could take less out of that. I haven't got any mates, so it's fine. But yeah, no, it's so are you able, because of that, because I know it's online only, etc., are you able to enjoy it as a single player experience, or do you feel a lot of, I've got to play this right in this right way, otherwise I'm going to piss off the people I'm with, and if they don't play that way, does it ruin your experience, or does it feel like you are playing single player in many ways with just like a decent AI?
No, it does feel like a group experience. I think one of the things they do really well, and it's a great question that you've asked. What they do really well is you have a limited number of respawns, and you have to call in the respawn. So if your teammate dies, you have to bring them back, really. And you can only do it a limited number of times, but you have to bring them back because of that whole glass cannon thing. Even the guys who are really highly leveled, if you're playing on, even if they're playing on a lower difficulty level, they can still get murked within seconds.
Yeah.
So they need you, even if you're just a little bit of a grunt. They need you to, even if it's just to draw fire, or even if it's just to have a grenade left that you can chuck down a bug hole to close it up. It's carefully structured so that everybody's necessary. So people do act like dicks occasionally, but generally they need you, and they treat it that way.
Still one, I'm so still on the fence with this one. Every part of me's going, no. I think if it hits a 15 quid sale, I might give it a go. It's just 35 quid for me at the moment. It's just like, no. Not for me, but I'm glad you're getting something out of it. I'm glad it's got something about it. I love the original, and it was balanced. It wasn't the best balanced game for single player, but it was balanced enough you could have fun with it. And that's always the thing that's put me off with this one. That it's, everyone says no, it is definitely a multiplayer experience, and it has to be. So yeah, maybe when it hits a big sale. What is a shame though is the PC port isn't optimized, because it's just so unlike Sony. Obviously how impressed I was with Horizon Forbidden West and how good that is.
Yeah.
Well, you take that level of I'm impressed and add that to Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima. Right. You add that to that, and it's like, Jesus Christ, it makes Horizon look like a poor port. It is, oh my God, it looks lovely. It's got FSR3, I think it's using to do stuff. No load times. It's like, so obviously for the PS5, they got rid of load times completely for the game. I played it on Steam Deck, and I think I've got it installed on the internal drive. And literally, it loads, and you get a hint screen come up. By the time you've read the first word, it's gone, and you're in the game.
Marvellous.
It looks lovely. It has no stuttering issues that you got in Horizon. I think I said, like, Horizon, there was some stuttering. You had to put up with it now and again, and different protons actually fix that. But this, straight in, I think I'm playing it on like a medium level graphics. So it's probably not the prettiest it could be, but on a Steam Deck, who cares? It runs absolutely smooth, and it's just glorious. So stuff like Helldivers, Sony have got no excuse. Well, I know they're different development teams who do the ports, but there's no excuse. I'm sorry, they've got the technology, they've got the teams. They can't be doing this. This now will affect their sales, stuff like Helldivers, because they've had to do a load of refunds because of the other stuff with it. But as I said, there's no excuse for them not to get this right moving forward. They've set the bar too high for themselves.
Yeah, and it's a comparatively low bar. It means, just invest in
your games are working.
Yeah, get your game working. In development, just realise that you're going to be doing it on PC, whether it's now or later, and just account for that when you're doing it. That's pretty straightforward stuff, really.
Yeah. If you're Sony, aim for the Steam Deck. That should now be the baseline for anyone doing a console port to a PC port. Aim for the Steam Deck and then build out from there. If you can get it better on higher end machines, great, wonderful. Can you get it working on a mid settings on a Steam Deck? That should be your baseline for PC ports now, because that's what the Steam Deck's brought to the game.
Yeah.
Is that now you've got that single unit you can focus on. And then if you're less than that, unfortunately you can go, your choice could be a bit tough. We can't make it for a 486, 2 megabytes RAM and a 40 megabyte hard drive. We can't do that. We get that. Some things have to be left in the past. Steam Deck, now your baseline. I think that's there you go. That's how you do a decent PC port.
Yeah.
There's your baseline. Off you go.
Yeah, it is, because it's pretty much comparable to a PS4. And you can easily aim for that if you're a PlayStation developer. So go for it.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. You've been diving into hell. I have been trying to think of a segue in the sea and the sky on islands.
Nice.
Don't know how that links, but I've been playing Isles of Sea and Sky, which is a mythology-based, Zelda-ish looking type gameplay puzzle experience, where basically you're playing this, like, what do I say, Greek mythology god type thing. He's got a toga. He wears a toga, so I'm going to go Greek, maybe Roman. Let's go Greek. And you basically you have to go. There's story reasons, and if it matters, the story's there. I kind of didn't care about the story, but you get basically popped onto this island and told, do things. And you basically, like you would in Zelda, you start exploring. And as you explore, you come across obstacles that go, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go there, you've got to do this to go there, to do this, to do that, to do that, to do this, to do... And then you work your way through it, around it, discovering things, trying and error, playing around. All the different puzzles are there, and honestly, it's really, really interesting, really, really fun. But what you got, instead of this one land that you're on, right, you've got these various different islands you go to, and you might need to complete a whole bunch of puzzles on this starting island, which allows you to unlock a turtle that you can jump on the back of, and then you go and find another island. And then you might do something on that island that unlocks something for a future island, but also find something that allows you to go back to the original island, because then you've got enough keys to open this other thing. This opens up another area, but you go into this other area and realise you're not equipped to do anything else in this other area, so you've got to go back to the other one. And it's just all about discovery. And it's so well set out. Like, the retro visuals work because you're concentrating on the puzzles, you're concentrating on the exploration. You're not going, oh, what's going on? I can't quite work out what's going on, or it's got beautiful 3D graphics or anything like that. Purely concentrating on the puzzles, on the exploration. And it's definitely cerebral in terms of how you've got to think, compared to Zelda, which is a bit more, I think, I don't want to say Zelda's dumbed down, because that's not the right term, but it does, like, Zelda's very simple. This is simple to do, but the puzzles for me are a lot more obtuse in a good way. And yeah, I'm having a great time with it. A couple of hours into it, onto I think my third or fourth island, and it's expanded out further. And yeah, it's just such a good time. Such a good time. And like, it's done this thing as well, which is, I know it happens in Zelda, but it's more of a Soulsball type thing where you can unlock shortcuts. So once you've done something, it might have been a trek to get there, but you can unlock a shortcut to just go back to it when you need to and cut out other bits and stuff like that. So it's really well thought out. It's a really, really, really solid game. And yeah, I highly recommend it to anyone. Absolutely perfect on the Steam Deck. It's not verified or anything yet, but it should be.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, looks really nice. You know, it's got that appealing kind of aesthetic to it. I'm not the biggest fan of kind of exploration puzzly games, but if this hits the right sweetest price point, then I might go for it. How much is it at the moment?
£15 ish.
Yeah, a bit high for me. I would halve that and I would pay it, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those. If it's not your sort of game as a whole, that's one that goes, oh yeah, I love these sort of games, give, which it is for me. I love these games. So I was like, yeah, £15, absolutely ballpark. But same with me, Helldivers is more your like type of thing. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go for that. I'll give that sort of game a go. I'm willing to pay £35. I'm not. It's same with this. If this drops to under a 10, I'll go for it. But if it's the sort of game you're like, if you're a massive Zelda fan, or you're a massive exploration puzzle fan, then totally do £15. You'll get so much value out of this. But if you're not, then yeah, you're right, probably wait for a sale.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, on that point of cost, I got lucky with the Helldivers. I think I paid £26 for it, I think it was. I got it off, I think it was Fanatical. So have a look on the key sites, okay. the legit key sites. If you're interested in it, not you, I mean the audience.
Yeah, not you, Brad.
Yeah, not you, Brad. But no, because like for you, if you can't play it on the Steam Deck, it's going to be a right pain trying to get playing it on PC frequently enough. But have a look if you're interested in buying it. Look around on the legitimate key sites, because they sometimes knock a tenner off it.
And it's Sony, so whatever you can do to knock money off, it's fine.
It's good, yeah.
They're a corporation, so screw them.
True.
Before we move on quickly, before you go to your next game, did you have that heart attack moment when you found out Microsoft were rumoured to be trying to buy Valve?
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh my God.
Don't you dare. I know Valve are a mega corporation, but oh God, no.
That would be
like, Valve, they're a mega corporation, but they just kind of do their own thing and give us a platform and a Steam Deck. Yeah.
I know.
They're not good guys, but yeah. But apparently it was false rumours. I was like,
thank God. Funnily enough, yeah. I was looking through my because I keep a top 100 list because I'm a geek. Obviously, I keep a top 100 list and I update it every year or couple of years with new stuff and top 100 games, obviously, because games podcast. And I think every major release from Valve, I think, is in there. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Alyx, just everything they touch turns to gold, and they only do it like once every 5, 6, 7 years. But when they do, bloody hell is good.
I know. Could you imagine if like Microsoft or Sony or EA or Activision owned Half-Life, and they came out and went, "Oh, we got a new Half-Life coming," but it wasn't number 3? Everyone would be so angry. Whereas everyone's gone, "Yes, Valve, this is actually really good. It's fine."
Yeah, exactly. You can actually trust them. That they've made the right decision.
Yeah, I don't like saying they're the good guy corporation, but of all of them, they are the least evil.
I think that's the only way you can ever put it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, they're a bit...
I mean, Gabe's amazing. He's a god to all of us, and I will happily review the Steam Deck 2 when it comes out, Gabe.
Yeah.
I love you, Gabe.
Yeah. No, I feel like they're, with their kind of free spirit anarchic thing, you could think of them as like a hippie corporation, but I think they're actually more like a libertarian setup. So it's kind of, people should do things individually, but it's more for the individual good rather than the common good, and it's just that they enjoy them. But
what'll be interesting is what happens when Gabe's moved on, whether that's like in the worst way possible, whatever, or whether he decides, I'm done with the games industry now, I'm going to set up, and what happens with Valve then. Because at the moment, I think Gabe's still a gamer at heart, and he's come from the bedroom coders. And yes, he's turned into a mega rich behemoth. But I think it'll be interesting what happens with Valve and Steam and everything when he moves on, in whichever capacity that is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't want it to happen, but it'll be interesting when it does.
I mean, he's a deity, so hopefully he'll just stay around forever, and everyone can just plod along.
Yeah.
Just don't do the green light thing again, because apart from Steph Sterling needs more material from it, because that was fun. That was the only good thing about Steam Greenlight.
Yeah, no, fair play. Yeah, you're right. A bit of a disaster, really, overall.
Yeah. But they own their mistakes as well, so I'm okay with it. Oh, God, I'm praising the corporation. Stu, what have you been playing? Come on.
Drag you out of this. Yeah. The next one I've been playing is more still on the sort of shooty frame of mind, and is MULLET MADJACK, which is such a good name. I think it's the only game that starts with mullet, which, that should go down in history. Fantastic. And yeah, it's a first-person shooter and very much in the style of recently the kind of Doom reboot from 2016. A bit of Bulletstorm in there, that kind of thing. It's a kind of, you've got to rush around, you've got to kick stuff and shoot stuff as quick as you can, because there's a timer ticking down, and killing things increases the timer so that you don't die. So a bit like, old school racing games when you have to, do things within the timer. And the sort of visual side of it, it's very anime, very cyberpunk, lots of in-game kind of references and nods and nostalgia. A lot of it, like there's real heavy Snatcher influence, which is, an obscure Hideo Kojima game from the late 80s that came out on the Mega CD.
Yeah.
Police Noughts, that sort of thing. It's got that influence to it, which is really good, but it's mostly kind of, your kind of Akiras and touch points like that from anime, and it looks fantastic. It's got like a cel-shaded look. There's loads of like Terminator-style punks going around. It looks fantastic. And yeah, so the gameplay is like really frantic. You run around and shoot stuff. You've got levels. You're going up in this great big skyscraper thing to try and rescue the nominal princess type of thing. And you're just going around blasting stuff, kicking stuff into fans and electrical conduits, and powering up by drinking pop. And it's framed really well. It's like, it's a future where AI and robots run everything. The remaining humans need to have dopamine every 15 seconds, otherwise they'll die. So they have to watch this TV show that you're in where you're killing things all the time.
What's that Jason Statham thing where he has to... that film where he has to constantly give himself adrenaline or keep his heart going.
Crank,
Crank, yeah. So it's like basically the video game version of Crank.
Yeah, exactly. Do that in a cyberpunk, remake it in a cyberpunk setting, and yeah, that's it. That's what you got.
I always thought Crank would make a good video game rather than a film, so...
Yeah.
But is it good, Stu? Sorry.
Is it good? It is good. I'm really enjoying it. It's great fun. It's very, one note. Some of it is by design, and I think some of it is just because it's, probably because it's a small studio. I would say that the weapons don't have much variety. There's a little bit, but not much. And there's one clear winner, which is always a bit of a mistake. Because although everyone goes on about the super shotgun in Doom, all the other weapons have their function and they do different things and operate in different ways, and it's worth using all of them. This doesn't really have that. The rail gun is by far the best gun in the game. So that's a little bit of a slip, although it's so much fun that doesn't matter too much. And it is a bit repetitive, but of course it's just a small studio, and it looks beautiful, so you don't really mind that much. It takes a little bit of a while to introduce like new enemies, but it gets there, so that's a net positive, I would say. I would say it's a really good game, really good fun. I'm not baffled by the really high scores, because I think I know the kind of thinking now. I think that part of that internet binary is if anything comes along that's both kind of knowing plus nostalgic, plus it's something that hasn't been around much or hasn't been around for a while, people kind of leap on it and proclaim it to be the next big thing. But I mean, for it to get scores like around the same level of Balatro kind of, leaves me scratching my head a little bit. But it's a really fun game. It's a kind of classic sort of 7 or 8 out of 10 style thing to invoke the scores thing that we normally don't do, and a really good fun. I think if you're into that kind of thing and you loved Doom 2016 and you love shooters, get it immediately. If you like them but you're not absolutely stunned by them, then leave it till it's half price or whatever. But it's really good, and I definitely recommend it.
Do you think the boosted scores are going to be now? I think because we started to see a public and sort of like a media backlash to the AAA studios and the corporations, whereby this is from a small studio. I'm assuming you load it and it works. There's no tinkering. There's no pour in. Like, you put it in, you play it, off you go. The fact it's got that is that, like, so if this was massive and there was like 30 minutes of introduction and loading and stuff like that, that would give you a net. But if you're literally, let's go, that gives you that. I mean, I'm playing it, so I'm going to forgive this, I'm going to forgive that internally. So that may be boosting it from, you said, a 7-8 to an 8-9.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it, and especially because if you look at how its visual appeal, you look at its aesthetic and what it's trying to achieve, you don't get anything like that in AAA's. AAA visuals are incredibly conservative. They're more conservative now than they ever have been. And like even, like 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, you'd get kind of, especially like on the Wii, you'd get things like Red Steel, was it? With the sword game. And Mad World and things like that, which were sort of AA, but they'd get like a fairly, even if they didn't sell well, they'd get fairly wide audience, and it was acceptable to have games that look like that. But if you look in the AAA space now, there's nothing that would be accepted that looks like this, and people love the way this looks, and people love the way that the Isles of Sea and Sky you were playing looks, but they're not being made as AAA games, and people are really starting to see them as this viable alternative because there's just nothing visually interesting being done in the AAA market.
Yeah, my main fear is that the AAAs are going to start going, these indies are doing well, so let's make them. And then slide in with their AAA-ness back, like with indie stuff. But anyway, this looks like the sort of game where you put it on and you grin from ear to ear as you're playing it. Whereas I've been playing, obviously, as I said, Ghost of Tsushima, and it's wonderful and it's brilliant and it's engaging and it's everything that you want from a big AAA game in a good way, not like the negative shit that goes with it. But it's not making me smile. I'm not sitting there playing it going, oh my God, this is so fun. I'm playing it going, this is really good. And I know the tone of the game's that anyway. The tone of the game isn't one that should make you have you grinning from ear to ear. But I can't think of a AAA game that I've played that just makes me grin.
Yeah.
Whereas I can pull up so many of these where I've played and a smile on my face. Or I've had... I recently wrote about my games from the last couple of weeks that I could finally talk about, like Haunty is one of them. And for whatever reason, I don't know what caused it, I just burst into tears. I wasn't upset, but the music and everything combined, and it was just brought so many emotions. I burst into tears, just like tears streaming down my face. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm not even upset. And then I played Duck Detective as well, which that had me grinning. 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours of playtime. Really great detective game where you play as a detective duck trying to solve the case of a missing salami in a workplace. That just had me grinning from ear to ear for the entire 3 hours I was playing it. It's glorious. You don't get those at the top end.
No, and I think that...
And this is another one.
Yeah, and I think the missing ingredient is joy. You know,
yeah.
If your primary goal is to be successful, it's practically impossible to do things from a place of joy, I think.
Yeah.
And if you look at like Arrowhead Games who make Helldivers 2, the very first thing it says on their Twitter account is, a game for everyone is a game for no one. And I think, you know, that's really at the core of it, that they're trying to hit as many people as they can in the AAA space to make the widest amount of money and the largest amount, hitting the widest demographic. And it just means that it's never gonna hit you in the gut like it should.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you one more question about it, but I think this answered by the Steam page itself, is that this is just you buy it, you get the game. There's no additional crap.
Yeah.
Now, it is a deluxe edition, and for me, this is what a deluxe edition, if you're going to say it, should be. The deluxe edition, for another like £8, I think it is, gives you an additional soundtrack and an art book. Now, I don't particularly like digital art books. I think they're pointless when you've got the internet, but so be it. I get why they do them. That's what you should add. If you're going to do extras and you want to try and get a little bit more money in for people to go, I love this game, I want to support you, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Soundtrack, art book, little bits like that. Nothing that adds to the game or takes away from the game or anything like that. Additionals. Just like you used to get, like, again, Ubisoft, I remember one of the special editions I always wanted, I never got around to getting. Do you know Driver San Francisco?
Oh, yeah.
And you could get that model, like, car.
Yeah.
I wanted that. Because that to me, that's a special edition. Now I don't even know what special editions are and ultimate editions and what have you. But yeah, this is so again, I'm answering for you, but you confirm the game is you buy the game, you get the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. It's what it is, which is just what you need, really. Yeah.
Excellent. In that case, moving on. Do you know I've been ill, Stu?
I do.
And you can't get to the doctors in England, right? It's very difficult. So it's very difficult in Scotland. I'd imagine if we all went to Sweden and Finland and en masse, you know, there'd be issues getting to the doctors there. In America, I haven't got the money for an American doctors, whatever. So I've been having a think. And the only place I can get healthcare is to follow Tim Curry and go to space. Well done. That's a reference there.
Okay.
By the way.
Very good.
Command and Conquer. Red Alert 2? Red Alert or Red Alert 2?
Oh, right.
Which one? Which one did he go? In space as a Russian dictator. Anyway, so do you know Theme Hospital? 2 Point Hospital, games like that. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really fun. You can't do much different with those. So what you do, just change the setting, stick it in a spaceship. And that's Galacticare. In a nutshell, I will talk more about it. Yes, it's brilliant. Yeah, basically, you run an intergalactic hospital. You build, manage, recruit staff, all that kind of thing. Everyone comes in with their various alien ailments, etc., etc., etc. And because it's set in space, you can do a few added things with it. So you get these like giant, alien creatures that come along and need help. So you've got to work out ways to do it. And you can send out space ambulances to go and like there's an early one in tutorial level, which ends up being some kind of like shop thing for you as well as it goes on. But you go out and you need to send out your spaceships to go and probe it, to find out, like, get its blood go pass its blood through and test it to then find out what's wrong, and then send more back out to then cure this big giant space whale type thing. But you're as you're going as well, you're still having to maintain your hospital on this spaceship by building what's essentially GP rooms and then treatment rooms. Give it all the you want your flowers, your seating areas, your vending machine, staff rooms, all the bits you get in all those hospital ones, but it's set in space. And it doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. It honestly doesn't. But as we spoke about previously, when I was playing it, it made me smile because it's different. It's a hospital building game, but it's set in space. Why not? And it just does a couple of little different things, just give it a nice visual flourish or slight changes to the overall formula without breaking the overall formula. I think too often with some of these games, you see them try and go, we're going to do this established thing in this new area, and then they try and make it completely different in all the wrong ways. This hasn't done that. So, like I say, you build your hospital out, and obviously, you bring in all your different staff and things like that. And they're all from different walks of the galaxy, and yeah, you basically what the really cool thing it's got. The one thing it has got, which I've got to find more of in there and work on, is a relationship builder with all the different species, and that affects how things work, how quick they can be treated, how quick you can communicate, that sort of thing that's there. So that adds the extra little dimension to it. But again, without breaking the general formula of what makes these games so good. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. It's not better than 2 Point Hospital, definitely not better than Theme Hospital, but it's a good solid alternative if you've been through all those and you've absolutely hammered those and you want more, or you want something that's just a little bit different. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, it's really nice to see something like that bringing the joy. Especially, it's a formula that's fun but complex.
Yeah,
I've not played a lot of them because too complex for the likes of me. But yeah, fun but complex and still joyous. That means they've really hit the nail on the head to me. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's absolutely fine on a Steam Deck, by the way. It's not verified, and I did have a bug when I first played it. Was going to make me go, bugger. This is not going to work. It was just a bug. I've not been able to replicate since, where basically the first thing it wanted me to do, which was place a receptionist desk. Hospital building game, of course, it's the first thing you got to do. Place it. It wouldn't let me place it, so I had to switch to mouse and keyboard controls on the Steam Deck to place it, and then switch back to controller controls, and it worked. I started again, wiped all my save and everything, started again and tried to replicate it. Couldn't replicate it, so it was a one-off bug, I think.
Nice. No, that's good. Really solid as well, despite being an indie studio. Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really coming to the fore now, just to carry on the overall theme of things. Indie studios now aren't just making quick experimental games. They're making fully fledged games that, again, we will always take the opportunity to piss on the fire of a AAA studio. Don't get me wrong. But they're putting them to shame. As they shoot themselves in the foot, the face, the heart, as much as they can, and eat themselves from the inside, the indie studios just continue to knock it out the park. Not every game's great, don't get me wrong. Not every single game we play great. I spoke last week about what was it called? That one I played last week, Stu, that I didn't really like. Against something or other, or was that you?
I think the one that you played was
Land Beneath Us. Sorry,
yeah.
I wasn't too keen. Didn't think that worked. I don't think it was a very good game. So we're not just going, all indies are great, but you could see what they was trying. There was the game. I didn't like it. Other people do like it. They're enjoying it. I'm not. Absolutely fine. And they're not going to be shuttered because they didn't make £20 billion last quarter. They will go again, hopefully. Or they'll move on, try something else. I'm not saying they're immune to disasters and being shut down because they haven't earned enough money. But indie studios now learning, right, what's our scope? What can we do? how far can we push it? We're seeing the likes of Balatro. The guy thought it was going to be, like local folk thought he was going to make a game that it'd sell about 10 copies and then he'll go on and get a job somewhere else. He's blown up and now he's set for life. I love that. The guy who done that Wordle thing, you know, so clever of him to sell it when he did, because that's now a piece of crap that's now sponsored and you got to pay for and stuff like that. He made his money, but he made it to the scope he wanted it for a personal game. Brilliant. They're success stories I want to see. My theory, if you're a small indie studio and you want a big payday and EA, Activision, Microsoft, Sony, whoever come in and go, we want to buy your studio, accept it. But walk straight out the door. With everyone who's with you, make sure you get enough money to give everyone who's part of your studio a chance to go and start again. Start your own studio elsewhere with the same people, but with, you know, 20 million quid in your pocket to start your new studio. Sell to them, but, you know, just go, oh, by the way, this is us, we're here now. That's not us.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure everyone in your company's aware. And, yeah, you know, let them eat themselves from the inside. But, yeah, studios, indie games are the saviour of the industry. They're not all perfect. Not everyone who makes an indie is a good person, as we know from past experience, but on the whole, I would definitely say there's more good. Well, definitely more good than bad in the indie world, and just you know, the variety of the games we spoke about today show that, because even the Sony ones, while they're smaller studios, it's not their big studios, and they try to do something different. So, yeah, brilliant. Support the indies, get a mad mullet, go to space, and get some healthcare.
Too right. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely right. It's never been more of a sort of take the money and run than now. If you get that offer, take it, take all the talent with you, and just leave them with the product they bought, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, and the name.
Yeah,
let them have the name. Yeah, the name. Yeah, so if Mullet Madjack wants to be sold to Microsoft and they buy him, go, yeah, you can have Mullet Madjack, and then come back with Sideparting Steve. Whatever, I don't know.
Oh, nice. That's the name of the episode, though, right there.
Sideparting Steve, yeah, there you go. But on that note, I'm going to shut up now. If there's anything you wish to say, Stu, off you go. But me, I'm done. I'm out. I'm being quiet. I'm shutting up.
Fair play. Well, yeah, hoping you feel better soon as well, because I know it's been dragging on a while and it's horrible. But apart from that, I've just, kind of biffed it a little bit. I don't know, really tired this week. It's been very, very busy, but I've got a long weekend coming up, thank God. So on that note, you still can't do it. Right, let me engage my brain, get it in gear. So as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you check out our content. This is not my day. Make sure you God almighty, I might as well just swear my way through it and look at our fucking stuff.
Just leave it in like this. Just leave it in like this. That sort of stuff. He's like, might as well. I don't care.
Yeah, fair play. So yeah, just look at our stuff if you want, and tune in next week and
give us money.
Give us some money.
Give us money.
Desperately need money. And
that's it, because we've not been bought by Gamer Network or IGN as well. So support your indies. Support your indie game writers as well.
Yeah.
Give us money. Don't give us money. I don't care. I'll run it at a loss. So I'm just going to blah blah blah. But sorry, Stu. Like you can't edit this now. It's all got stated anyway. So whatever. Listen. Our goal is just we love talking about video games. We love it. Gives us a space to escape to talk about. We talk about mental health. We talk about social issues and stuff like that, because we bounce off each other really well. We run at a loss. It comes all out of our own pockets and stuff like that. We don't take sponsorship. I do get offered sponsorship. I refuse to take it because we don't want to be compromised. We just talk about what we talk about, what we like, etc., etc. So yeah, I got offered Clash of Clans, I think it was, via email. I went, behave. Don't want it. We've never spoke about that, so why do you want to sponsor us? But I went, no, Tar, you're all right. And they went, oh, but we'll give you 2 cents per hit or whatever. I don't care, whatever. But anyway, we run it on us. We don't do that. It's all everything from us is from us. We are not bowing down to anyone. We have just spoken about indies that if someone wants to come in and buy an indie for 20 million quid or whatever, just cut them. It's not going to lie. If IGN came in and went, we want to buy you for 20 million quid, I'll go, well, let it take us. We're just going to go and start off mental herb gardening or something like that. .com, and you'll catch us there instead. So, yeah, if you ever see us owned by IGN, I've taken the money and run. If IGN want to buy us, even though I've just insulted you and stuff like that, because whatever, corporations are bad, then just hit me up. No sponsorship, though, not sponsoring. We'll sell out.
Yeah, we will. I'd sell out in a heartbeat.
That's the intro you was after, weren't
Absolutely.
it? The intro you was after.
Yeah, nice and concise. Yeah, that's definitely, yeah perfect.
That's what's going to go on my gravestone. Here lies Brad, nice and concise.
Yeah, that's it. and that's it. So stay safe, stay sane.